Hey, it's time for a Simmers morning skate, but this is not just a Simmers morning skate. It's a 6 minutes with Sammy, Sam Cosentino from Rogers Sportsnet up there in Canada. Sammy, baby, how are you?
Yeah, doing great. Nice to be on, talking a little hockey. It's coming up fast.
I know. Here we are in August. So I've started the clock. We've got 6 minutes with Sam. His time is extremely valuable. He's the expert in terms of prospects and draft on Rogers Sportsnet National Network in Canada. We're going to talk about the Seattle Kraken and some of the things that's been going on. Let's go word association. Fourth overall pick, 2022, Shane Wright. What do we got? What do we really have here?
So he's a really interesting story this year in particular because technically he's still age eligible to play in junior hockey. And that kind of has a twist to it because after 4 years in junior hockey, you can move on. But of the 4 years he's played, one of them was canceled. So I think all the parties are getting together in terms of the CHL, the NHL. They're talking, they're having positive talks that he may be void from coming back to junior hockey, which I think getting that out of the way would be the perfect thing. That way, he doesn't have to be a Seattle or junior hockey guy. He can go and play in Coachella Valley, which is where I think he should be based on the fact that he missed that 1 year. So let's assume that all goes according to plan. He's a guy who's going to go to camp. He's going to make his run. He's going to make his push. There is some spots open at center in the Seattle lineup. If that should fail, however, then he can fit comfortably at a level where he's going to be challenged at Coachella Valley and probably go up and down a few times throughout the course of the year. Just keep an eye for the kind of final word on what the NHL says about that, but I would fully expect them to do right by Shane Wright and allow him to be able to be a part of the AHL Coachella Valley, this year if need be.
Now, generally speaking, people are like, hey, fourth overall pick. Wouldn't it be nice if we had the Beniers Wright thing, lefty righty, beautiful dreamboat situation? But is his development on track? Are we expecting too much from this kid too soon?
Yeah, I think that the 1 year miss was huge, and so I know going through the interview process with NHL teams, a lot of teams asked Shane why he didn't try and go and play elsewhere in Europe, like some other Ontario Hockey League players did. I think he felt pretty strongly about things getting back on the ice at some point and didn't want to commit to go elsewhere and then have to come back. As we know, that didn't happen in the Ontario Hockey League, so essentially he missed out on an entire season. And I think that's a huge part of the developmental process. It's your draft year, you don't play. That time has to be made up somewhere. Some of it can be made up in the summer, but for the most part, your best development comes by playing games at whatever level that might be. And Shane is basically a year behind everyone else in playing games. Although we played a fair amount last year, still a little bit behind. So I have no problem with whatever Seattle's thinking, whatever Ron Francis thinks he needs to do with this player in order to get him to the National Hockey League where he can sustain and remain there and not bounce up and down. You think about last year, Windsor, trade from Kingston to Windsor, playing on Canada's junior team, sitting out at the NHL level, NHL games, Coachella Valley, playoffs. There's a lot of different things that were happening for this young man and happening all at once. I think this year is going to be a lot more steady year, which is going to allow that development curve to get back on pace. And I'm looking forward for big things from this guy. Not necessarily at the NHL level this year, but probably one more year of transition before we see a full-time NHLer right from the get-go next season.
Very nice. Sammy, baby, you're now 3 minutes and 40 seconds into your 6 minutes on SeattleHockeyInsider.com. Eduard Sally, this year's first round pick from the Czech Republic or Czechia.
Yeah, super, super skilled, talented guy, has speed, handles the puck really well. My most important viewings of him and where I think we saw him at his very best were against Canada in the final at the World Under-20s in Halifax. There were some stretches in the last 10 minutes of the third period where Czechia had to come back, where then it got to overtime and where he was playing in all the important minutes. He was involved, he was engaged, there was some physical involvement. But if you look at the big picture and stretch that out over the course of the season, I think the number one thing that people were concerned about is his consistency. So I go back to the Linka Gretzky at the start of last year's scouting season. I thought, oh my God, this guy's so skilled and so talented, it's ridiculous. Then he has a pretty tough time playing at the pro level, gets back with his age group or at least close to it. And I thought he was really good at the under-20s. So it's just a matter of him finding a place to play that's going to allow him that consistent kind of path where there's no layups in the year. There's no letdowns. There's consistent playing time. There's playing in all situations. And I think that may be afforded to him this year. But, on the upside of things, ridiculously skilled, like top 6 skilled type of talent for Shelley.
And just seeing the development camp, super smooth skater. Like, it just seems very, very effortless for Eduard Sally. Okay, time is a ticking here. And you mentioned the Hlinka Gretzky. We had that. We had the 5 Nation Cups for the year after. And we had, of course, the summer showcase for the World Juniors. Heaven for scouts. Real fast. Next year, give me 2 names. Don't have to get heavily described because you only got 35 seconds. 2 names that we're going to see and hear about. Maybe not their Connor Bedard's for 2024 draft.
Well, Macklin Celebrini is a guy who didn't participate in the event. He's planning to play college hockey. He's the guy for the 2024 draft. Berkeley Catton was Canada's leading scorer at the Hlinka Gretzky. He plays in Spokane. I think this guy's a star in the making. I started hearing from his club a lot about him last year, and I think that all came to fruition, watching him at the Hlinka Gretzky. So those are 2 names I'm looking at for 2024. But again, I feel really strongly about this draft class. I don't think the names are going to stop there. And of course, people are going to emerge as the year goes on.
Berkeley Catton, it seems like every game he had 2 goals. I think he had 2 goals in every game, but one of them.
He was great.
Sammy, baby, 6 minutes with Sam. 6 minutes with Sammy. Sam Cosentino from Rogers Sportsnet in Canada. Outstanding job as always. There's also going to be a Vancouver version of this quickie little thing looking at the Canucks on VancouverHockeyInsider.com. But this is SeattleHockeyInsider.com. Sam Cosentino, thank you very much.
Thanks, Simmer.
And we'll see you very, very soon.